Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Arachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the full like tabernacle of David that is scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. The groundwork is being laid, and soon they're gonna roll it out. The system is already set. It's just a matter of time before they actually roll this bad boy out. What am I referring to? The MOT to the B. You even got congresswomen that are actually speaking on mainstream platforms about this, because they know what's happening. There shouldn't be any reason why you still can't see, what this is. Because either if you can't see it, it's either because the Most High blinded you that you can't see it, or you sold out. All right, you took that money, you sold out, man, and you took that gift. But it's crystal clear at this point. So what's going to be your explanation when they finally roll it out? So anyway, just getting into the Genius Act, Trump's digital dollar, which they're not gonna just come out and say that it's a central bank digital currency. They just put their little digital dollar stamp on it, title, to make you think that it has nothing to do with that, or it's not, damn near the same thing. But either way, the way this new system is designed, you're gonna start getting used to not using physical cash money. All right, all your money is going to be in digital form, and it's going to be traceable. It's going to be programmable, and that's complete control over your buying and selling, control over transactions. So at this point, if you ignorant, that's on you. But anyway, let's get into it, and then we'll get some scriptures, of course. So we're going to start with this video, and then I want to play a clip where you hear Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she goes into it and breaks it down. All right, so let's get into it.
To my pledge never to allow the creation of a central bank digital currency in America. It won't happen. My first.
And that was before. Since then, all of a sudden, America is going to become the new crypto capital of the world. Now all of a sudden, he's coming with a digital dollar. So we already know not to believe this dude. He's under control. They're controlling him. It's not about what he wants. It's about what the globalist Zionist elite want, which is basically a new world order and a new form of control through a digital technocracy. All right, with a whole entire digital biometric system set up for the world. All right, where you're gonna have a digital ID, and you're gonna have to use digital money. All right, so we already see it.
I saw that clip on my Twitter timeline. I'm like, thumbs up, hell yeah. I'm flapping my wings like a bird, because I'm like, we're free from the central bank digital currency. This is an actual win. And then a few moments later, I see the clip from his buddy, David Sachs. And this is what he said. Take a listen.
And now today, you have another historic legislative achievement that is a monumental step to fulfilling your promise to making the United States the crypto capital of the world. This Genius Act will unlock American dominance in the crypto industry by creating clear rules of the road. It will update archaic payment rails with a revolutionary new payment system, and it will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally by creating a digital dollar that people all over the world can use.
Did you guys hear that? One more time.
It will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally by creating a digital dollar that people all over the world can use.
So to me, that sounds like the same thing, just a different label. Instead of a central bank digital currency, oh, no, you're not getting that. You're just getting a digital dollar. Anyways, I would...
Same concept. These devils, they just like to, they like to confuse you and speak with that double tongue. What's that? Hold up. So lucky. Let me All right, that's not that's for the deacon. But let me just grab this then. And this is why you can't trust these devils, man. This is Psalms 52, and this is in the AMP. It says, verse 1, it says, "Why do you boast of evil, O mighty man? The loving kindness of the Most High endures all day long. Your tongue devises destruction like a sharp razor working deceitfully. You love evil more than good and falsehood more than speaking what is right." All right, you love all words that devour, O deceitful tongue. And it tells you that the wicked are estranged from the womb as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So you gotta watch what they say. Hear what they say, but watch what they do. As far as their actions, as far as the policies that they pass. That explains the overall objective of what they're there for. So, they don't want to, make it too obvious. So, of course, don't call it a CBDC, right? Where people are starting to learn and study about what that is. They just, name it a more safer initiative. No, we're just creating a digital dollar, to get y'all used to using digital money, so that America can dominate, in some fashion. But this ain't nothing but the devil boasting of his heart's desire. This is what they really want. All right, mass control over the population. Okay, so they're not gonna be upfront about it. They're gonna speak with that forked tongue. So let's go back.
Curious, so I went to ChatGPT and I asked it, I said, how exactly will our lives change with this new genius law passed and a digital dollar? And this is what it said. It said you'll still use dollars, but digitally. It said you won't stop spending money, but you'll slowly stop spending physical cash. It'll be fast, cheap, and convenient.
And that's the conditioning. They get you weaned off of the dollar, off of, fiat currency, and to move you into the digital world. You already do it through these apps, these pilot programs. You still use your debit, credit cards. We use these apps like, Venmo, Apple Pay, PayPal, Cash App. So it's already, conditioned, with the people. This is what we're beginning to be used to. And before you know it, they can say, all right, these other apps are no longer effective. They're going to, they'll probably do something, cause glitches and, stuff like that. And then they're going to say that, this is becoming outdated. It's becoming faulty. So we have a new method. We have a new way. We're going to bring out these implantable C hips. All you got to do is just get it inserted into your skin, into your hand, or even in your head. Once you get the operation done, you ain't got no worries. You got nothing to worry about. And people are going to buy into that. They're going to call it an upgrade. They're going to say, oh, this is more convenient. Can't nobody actually steal from me. You're going to think it's convenient. And that's how he's going to come with it. So let me grab actually let me go to this one, the conspiracy of the wicked. Psalm 64:1, it says, "Hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." All right, and all the higher ups are all a part of this council, and this is what they want to bring forward. All right. Who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Because you better believe, we're in their way. This big rollout, that they are trying to push out. The prophets constantly warning the people about what their agenda is. We're kind of in the way. So, that when they have these meetings, they talking about how they want to get rid of us and silence, people that are speaking out. All right. Because, things are going to come out. The scriptures talk about the man of sin. All right. The son of perdition, that he's going to be revealed in these last days, and he's being revealed, and you seeing this new system roll out. So the Lord is revealing them now. Okay. The mystery of iniquity is working. All right. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? And this is part of, this is what you would say a trap. This is kind of like a snare, easing you into this system, using these programs, apps, conditioning you and getting you ready. Luring you onto that grid system. And then he's going to say, all right, everybody take this implantable device. It's going to be required. If you want to buy and sell, if you want to, do trade, if you want to work, if you want to do this and do that, this is going to be a requirement now. All right. So if you can't, like I said, if you can't see this at this point, man, then the Lord got you under, he gave you under strong delusion. All right. Or you really, really did get that bag, man. You sold out. Let me get this real quick. It's Exodus. And we're going to see now that the gorilla, he's no longer associating himself with the Israelites, even though he still claimed to be one. We're going to see if he continue to talk about this type of stuff. Or he's just going to just start talking about irrelevant worldly shit now that he claims to be free and unlimited. It's Exodus 23:8. I'm going to read it in the NLT. And it says, take no bribes, for a bribe makes you ignore something that you clearly see. Them dudes at the IUIC, they know, they see it. Like Nate sees it. Deacon Malachi see it. No, they see it, man. But they have to act like they don't see it. and speak against it because they under, that restriction. Right? Once you under that 501c3, you better be careful about what you're talking about. So it says a bribe makes even a righteous person twist the truth. Because like now you're talking about the MOTB, but you're saying it's not the CHIP. So why are you mentioning about digital currencies then? Why are you throwing that into the mix? There was a point in time when you didn't believe that this technology had any association with the MOTB. You thought that it was an embargo. All right. Then you move from that to, it's Christianity, it's sin. And you're just all over the place. But it's coming down to the point where you can't be ignorant anymore because it's right up in your face. We're seeing exactly where this is all heading. All right, let me get Isaiah. Because some of you, you're just paid to lay down and play stupid. So basically, you're a paid slumber dog. Isaiah 56:10, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. All right. So anyway, let's finish this out, and then I'm gonna get the other video clip.
But behind the scenes, every transaction will be logged, traceable, and potentially programmable, which
traceable. Yeah, that's what they want to do. Let me get that in Job. I always like to get this one. It pertains to it. Yeah, Job 13 and 27, it says, you put my feet in stocks. You examine all my paths. You trace all my footprints. Yeah. Because this devil wants to be like the Most High. He wants to see everything moving, everything coming and going. So this is a good method or a good way of doing so. Okay. He wants to trace all your footprint. He wants to trace your carbon footprint. And this is another way he can actually monitor that. All right.
sounds terrible. It says that pilot programs will start quietly. You might start getting offers like claim your $500 digital rebate, faster tax refunds if you sign up for your federal wallet, and it will feel like a reward, but it's bait to get you into the system early.
Hey, they lay snares privately. They say, who shall see them? See that? What is a snare? A trap. All right. And they searched this out. They already knew how they was going to do it. Psalm 64:6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. All right. You can't be ignorant, man. Let's say you should get an advantage of us if we're not ignorant of his devices. So yeah, damn, ChatGPT talking like that. They're gonna have to reprogram ChatGPT because ChatGPT be too honest at times, man. They probably gonna start looking into people that use ChatGPT a lot. Anyway, let's finish.
Sure, my audience will enjoy this one. We'll be nudged towards a digital ID, and to use the digital dollar long term, you'll likely need the KYC verification, your social security number, and possibly even biometrics, face scan, and fingerprint. And eventually, the wallet will equal.
And eventually, you're gonna need to scan that RFID. You know, that's not in parentheses yet, but you could throw that in there. That's what's gonna come right down the line. We already see it because the prophecy said so. All right, it's gonna nudge you, towards it. I mean, it's gonna gradually, bring you to that space. Put you right in in the system.
Your ID, and once you're in, opting out becomes harder. Thumbs up. Next one, it says your money could be smart. Programmable money means that your funds could expire if not spent by a deadline. It could be restricted to certain merchants, items, or regions.
Yeah, they're already doing that with where was this at? Where basically they were programming, was it the Snap? Where basically your Snap balance can only be spent on certain items, but you would not be able to pay for certain other type of items. I think there was, in this particular state, the new policy was you can't spend on what they call junk food. You can't use your SNAP benefits on junk food. You got to get this type of food or that type of food, and it's programmed to where if you try to run it through the cashier, something that you would want to get, and it's gonna when you go to give them your SNAP card or whatever, it's gonna reject or decline some of the items that you ran through because it's programmed to only purchase certain types of foods. So they can do that easily. They can also, set a time limit for the amount of benefits that you have. You got to spend it by this such and such date, or it'll basically clear. It'll basically reset. Like PTO at your job. You don't use it in a certain within a year. Once the following year comes, it doesn't carry over to the next year. So you got to use it up. So your money is going to be programmed in the same way. And also they have the power to shut it down. They can freeze it. Like they can freeze your bank account. Like when Kanye got out of bounds and they made an example out of him by freezing, his assets and taking away them endorsements and all that because he was speaking against those people. That they showed you what they could do in their power. Even if you wealthy, if you famous, you got money. That's why going back into the prophecy, he calls of all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So that covers all statuses. All right, of citizenship. You're still going to be up under this system, under this grid, and you're going to be controlled.
Or be frozen or limited based on government decisions or flags. So to me, that kind of sounds like if you get on their bad side, they could just freeze our funds. Think if
Yeah, Aaron Russo even said it. He said how they was basically saying, if they get out of line or something, they get in trouble, they can just turn the chip off. They just turn them off. So imagine if you got it in your head and it's being used to not only for identity and buying and selling, but you're using it for your for brain enhancement and basically the little left hand miracles that they can do, like the Neuralink. Imagine if they shut that off. Probably turn your ass into a vegetable. They can. You could just see all type of like diabolical things that can happen, through this device, man. But this is what this devil wants.
You keep questioning about the Epstein files, your account's going to get frozen. If
you talk about them small hat people, what they consider anti-sim content, or language, this would pretty much be disciplinary actions or penalties. All right. They look at what you're saying online. They're looking at your content on social media, whatever it is that you do. They're looking at your political worldviews, your religious worldviews, and they can use that to penalize you. This is how it's all being set up.
questioning why we send all this money to our greatest ally while we have a bunch of issues here at home, your funds will be frozen. Sounds great, doesn't it? Next one, it says surveillance will be built in. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Anything digital they can basically see and flag you and watch what you're doing and spending on at all times. So good. Here we go. I'm sure my audience is going to absolutely love this one, and that is that they will have more control over us during emergencies. And think Palantir, they're going to have all our data. They're going to know if we're vaccinated, all this BS. And then they'll be able to say, oh, it's an emergency. There's a new pandemic. You got to stay home to stay safe. Hey, you, what do you think you're doing? We know that you're not vaccinated. Well, you're supposed to stay home and stay safe. And we see that you're trying to go to that bar, that movie theater, hang out with your friends. You're in danger. You're putting them at risk. Before, they couldn't really do much about it because you just use cash. Now it's all digital, what they're trying to do. So they'll just be able to shut your account down and you'll be screwed. And this is how it finished. It said, bottom line, this is what the Genius Act sets the foundation for, a compliant, traceable.
And that's why eventually, when they roll this thing all the way out, the scriptures talk about, getting your house, setting your house in order, and basically don't start to get anxious when it gets to this point. Don't start to worry yourself with mortal thoughts. 2 Ezra 14, because basically this system is finna go down the drain. He's rolling it out, but we could see the bigger picture, because we have vision. We already know the end of this place. All right, the Lord's gonna, as soon as he fill his belly, that's when the Lord's gonna, he's gonna bring his judgment on his devil. All right, he's gonna disappoint the hands of the crafty, that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So the Lord's gonna speed the times up even more. All right, he's gonna shorten the days for the elect's sake. So when this happens, we're gonna have to, have that mental fortitude and have faith, to get through and endure until we up out of here. 2 Ezra 14 and 13, it says, now therefore set thine house in order. You, your family, they're gonna have to know, what time it is, and they're gonna have to know, like, hey, this is it. We got to step out on faith. And, you got to let your wife know, hey, remember Lot's wife. You want to make it into the kingdom, you're going to have to hold on. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. It's part of that straight gate. It says, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. Is what we're going to have to do. All right, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So that's when we're gonna, come into Jacob's trouble, as well as the hour of temptation. Okay, we're gonna be tested. We're gonna be tried. Some of us going to get sought after because we're refusing to bow to this system. All right. So we're going to have to, put off that weak nature and trust on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Place your burden upon him and he will sustain us. We can't forget about the scriptures that do comfort us, that say that these people shall starve, but his servants shall eat. You know, they shall be thirsty, but we're gonna drink. All right, they're gonna hell for sorrow, vexation, and we're gonna be joyful. Can't forget these things, man. In the time of famine, thou shalt be satisfied. At destruction, thou shalt laugh. All these different things spoken of. We're gonna have those in our mind while this is going on. So, if you even entertain the thought or idea of giving in and eventually getting this thing, as the scriptures say, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Now, you don't even want to toy with that idea, but it's going to be tempting, because you're going to realize how hard it is to even live without coming onto this, being a part of this system. So let's finish this out, and then we'll get the other one, and then we'll close out.
Eventually programmable dollar rolled out by private actors just strictly to avoid the CBDC label. With government back-end control, it won't look like tyranny at first. It will look like innovation, safety, and convenience. But over time, it becomes a soft prison that you can't escape without being flagged. Anyways, guys, who cares about all that? Because the good news is, at least it's not a central bank digital currency. It's a digital dollar, which does the same thing. And we're still controlled, and there's still psychopaths. But it's a different name, a different brand. So everything's great. Thanks, Trump, for banning CBDCs. Awesome.
Yep. Now let's grab this now.
The society and end of financial freedom. Listen carefully. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Listen carefully.
Let's start with the Genius Act. I'm very confused about the Genius Act. I thought there was a deal made by the president to make sure that included was going to be the central bank digital currency. There would be no possibility of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to a cash society. And the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th in 2025, when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it, everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However,
yeah, it's all part of the distraction. This whole Epstein shit, it's part of the distraction. This right here, he signed it right up under these people's nose. And there's not too many people really talking about this. They talking about Epstein. We know all them devils is all freaks. We already know that they was all involved. But, they want you to talk about that and speculate and this and that. Meanwhile, they setting the groundwork. They Trump is coming with the groundwork. All right, this is what they wanted to do.
now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire setup, groundwork, and an entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means
She said they don't want to ban the crypto, the digital currency. Let's listen to that one more time. Now keep in mind, she's a congresswoman and she knows what she's talking about. Listen carefully. And by the way, she's going to say the reason why she's against this. She's going to say it's because the Bible says, and she made the reference to Revelation chapter 13, verse.
Yep. So even they can see this, man. What's up with you Israelites? Even they can see this. How you gonna say that John in his vision didn't see all of this coming, man? The Lord declares the end from the beginning, man. He tells you before these things spring forth, he tells you of them. This is massive. How in the hell would the Lord miss this?
16 and 17, a system that will be established to control the buying and selling. That's what she's going to say. Let's go.
Being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government to take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset.
So the government will turn off your money? Now, one more time. This is a House representative telling you what Congress is now.
And that's why that verse in 17, the description is so particular and detailed. All right, that it says it focuses on buying and selling. They give you the functionality of this device. All right, that lets you know that it has nothing to do with some idea in your head, you know, some philosophy. No, it's very specific. You won't be able to buy or sell unless you have this. So you got to be a part of a system of control.
And turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest vote held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight because there was a deal made and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something, that's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency.
Ooh, did you hear that? So she said the House Speaker wants to ban CBDC. But that has to go for a vote. But she also says there's not enough votes in the Senate in favor of the banning. So where are we heading? A cashless society. Speaking as a dragon. One more time, listen to what she says here. Don't miss this point here.
There was a deal made, and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something, that's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is...
She's referring to COVID when she said that happened only a few years ago. She's saying what we've experienced only a few years ago is about to take place again in a much grander scale. Remember, during COVID, they tried to control your buying and selling. Remember that?
Yep, and then Deacon Malachi, then he not use that same example, showing that these guys they playing stupid, man. They see it, they know what's going on, and trying to position themselves so when it does occur, they're gonna say that we always said that, just to not to, admit. That great millstone was right. We had it right. It's all out of pride, man. But playing like that, y'all still somehow, the Lord could have it to where you do still end up taking it. You know, because you failed to warn the people in an honest, genuine way. Anyway, you listen clearly, man.
You don't have the poison. If you have not taken the poison, you could not, in some country, you could not go out of your house to buy and sell, right? Or if you did not wear the muzzle, they control the buying and selling. Well, here comes cryptocurrency, at least stable coin, or the Genius Act to control that. Remember, COVID was a foundation that they laid for everything else that we are experiencing and about to experience. One more time, let's go back.
Get this out straight for you.
Oh, and remember, even then, when they was, using that particular operation, had these people in fear. They was also saying that paper money was dangerous. It could be used to transmit and spread, and so they want to limit the use of cash and coins, physical coins. This is what they started doing. They wanted everything to be contactless for safety reasons. And hey, this is how Satan is coming in these last days, man. All right, he can't fool those whose eyes are open. We got that eye soft, man, so we can clearly see.
You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin. But it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government. And there will be no ban on a central bank digital currency. There will be no way to protect your ability to fully control your digital currency in the future. And I'm voting no to this today. I don't know if there'll be any other no votes on the Republican side, but I'm voting no to this because I'm a Christian and
Listen now, here's the reason why she said she's voting no on this. Let's go back. Listen.
Any other no votes on the Republican side, but
It don't matter what your vote is. They're determined to roll this bitch out. All right, there's nothing. A vote is not going to turn around prophecy. That's just not going to happen. All right, but hey, a lot of these people that know about this, that's why you're going to have some. There's going to be some infighting. There's going to be division. There's going to be resistance. So that's why this devil is going to come down with that great wrath eventually. Start putting everybody that disobeys and won't comply, hold them under interrogation, put them in these prisons, concentration camps. It's going to be more alligator Alcatrazes. Basically more imprisonment, because that's what that other bill was for. All right, he putting that big ass bill, 175 billion, to basically militarize and extend this ICE program, where they're gonna have more men. All right, that's gonna not just go after migrants. Undocumented migrants, but people in general. You go against the status quo, and they're gonna start rounding people up. They're gonna look at you real suspicious. You're trespassing. Where's your identification? Why aren't you in a system? Who are you? And instead of deporting you, they might do something else. Probably even put you to death, because we've been hearing about them putting to death some of these migrants, taking them on cargo planes and dropping them in the sea. So if they'll do that to you just for being a undocumented, migrant here, how much more when that beast, that mark, gets rolled out.
16 through 17 says,
What does this passage say again? He causeth all, and both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, so that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark of the beast. That's what the passage says. So she is telling you that this was not the first time Marjorie, I keep saying majority, Marjorie Green has exposed certain things that is going on in Congress, especially things that has to do with your freedom, religious freedom. She says again,
right, everybody
the
wake
reason
up.
why she's voting no on this, the reason why she wants to ban this bill is because it goes along. If she doesn't vote no on it, we will see a fulfillment of Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. Listen again.
And this is all part of the building blocks to that destination. You know, these are all the steps. This is like the precursor. This is like the highway entrance, you know, to it. So yeah, if you dudes don't wake up out there, man, you gonna be ordained, all right, to condemnation, because you're gonna end up taking it, not knowing what the hell is going on. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make this too long, so I'll end it right there, and hopefully y'all were edified. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.